Unemployment increased this month by 10%. How can that happen? How can you be more productive than you're laying people off? You're doing it because of robots. It's going to impact your whole life. When you log onto Google, you're dealing with a robot, and there's human-robot interaction. And I, in this point in my career, am deeply fascinated and hungry to understand that. Because when you log into Google, the robot is watching you. There's something called system identification, where you put an input into a system and watch it respond. Google is doing that to you the entire time you're on there. And after a month of you using Google, Google has a model for you. I don't know if it's space-based or not, but it has a model. And so when you log on, Google has your model, and what you find out is that, my goodness, I'm in an area that I know nothing about. You're looking at things that you didn't know you were interested in. And in another month, Google has more information, has revised your model, and guess what you're doing? You're pulling out your credit card at these new locations, and you're buying stuff. Because the robot is pinging you. It has a model. It's improving the human-robot interaction, but in a manner waiting for its benefit. And so more and more and more, you will not be able to do anything without working with a robot. And more and more and more do I want to understand the nature of this interaction. Do you trust Google? What does that mean? Is it quantifiable? What does it have to do with the interaction that goes on? Do you know that if I go to that same computer that you just left that was buying those Tasmanian furry things that you don't have any need for at $20 a pop? Because Google makes you do it. If I log on there to that same Google, the interaction is different. Once it knows it's me, it's a different model. So I'm fascinated by human-robot interaction because you won't be able to do anything without robots. Next year when I come here, I won't need Daniel to be a robot to sit here. And so, class, this is my new area. I know nothing about it. I'm fascinated about it. Some of you are too. Those of you that didn't fall asleep on me are now fascinated by this and want to do your research in this. So here's what I did. I needed an environment, a laboratory, so that I could study human-robot interaction. Okay? I abandoned everything that I'm an expert in and built a facility to study human-robot interaction, which I know nothing about. And what I did was I built a test area of 42 feet by 42 feet by 16 feet. Well, I could put a robot in there with a human and study the interaction. I outlined the perimeter that with 44 high-speed motion capture cameras, $20,000 a piece, 44 to cover the entire area. And in that, I can put track balls on my robot and my human in the way that they did the movie Avatar. You remember they had little balls all over them and then put an avatar on top of them? But I can cover my vehicles and my humans with track balls, and as they move and interact, I can quantify that. With a vehicle, as it flies around, you actually get a state vector, an aircraft state vector, X, Y, Z, pitch, roll, and yaw, 6 degrees of freedom. And you get one for a human, too. So I can start to actually quantify and study this interaction. Guess what? There is no academic institution in the country that has that big of a volume, that many cameras, and that capability. I spent $1 million. I built the nation's premier motion capture studio with no research funding. And so the other thing I want to do is combine it with virtual reality, augmented reality. Did you know that when you anybody ever put on a VR headset? Don't be shy. Raise your hand. Come on, millennial nerds. I know you all. There's a HoloLens, which I love. You put that thing on, and you can create virtual reality. I'm told that 90% of the onboard computation for the HoloLens is to track the position of your head. I'm told that if you step into my facility with the 50 robot cameras, you can offload all that tracking. And now you got another 90% of HoloLens to create dynamic scene environments. And so I want to create a Star Trek holodeck and put a robot and a human in there and make them think that they're in a large-scale disaster scenario and start to do research. You like that? I want to do simulation. I want to do drone robot tracking and control, kinematics, human gait, human-robot interaction. And since it's the premier facility in the country, I want to offer it to you. Just like wind tunnels. I want you to think about this. I want you to call me up. I want you to come out, and I want you to spend time in it doing research. Because I know you now, I won't even charge you for the first couple of times. Unless you go with Dan, then you get premium charges. But this is the first time in public. I opened it 3 weeks ago. Next slide. It's called Star Lab, and we have a reception area and lobby because we want to do research and we want to serve customers. We want to serve the community at large. We have a 42-foot by 52-foot fiducial area and a cloud press with 44 to 50 cameras on board to do our tracking. We have technicians and all the software to aid you in your research. Next slide. We have a viewing area and a conference planning room. We've already had vehicles visiting. This is something called Hercules, which is a 10-rotor, I don't know, what is it, Jackarcopter. It was a 10-rotor vehicle. This is Trinity it's a robotic bird. And so we've already started testing. You can't see this because it's too dark, but it's a picture of Trinity flying, and then there are satellites that are lit up and bright showing its path. It's an example of how things work there. I invite you to come and help me build this holodeck. You and your professor can come and it's free, all right, to get started. Let's figure out how to make this happen. It is the premier facility in the country, okay? And so at this point, I'm supposed to say thank you for your time, but that's my story and I'm sticking to it. Thank you.
So the Valkyrie satellite is a precursor satellite to a future mission called Armada. We're going to have a large constellation of satellites that go to low Earth orbit and study the atmosphere. So before we put the spacecraft on the rocket, this rocket goes into testing the environment.
I'm very glad to have this opportunity. Quick correction, most of this is actually about the research leading up to that point. It's actually not going to be about the company. But you will quickly know why I call myself a pseudo-data scientist. I was not trained in data science. My background is communication networks. Data applied probability, stochastic control. I worked many years on sequential decision theory, online learning theory, resource allocation, most of them within the context of wireless networks in a very resource-constrained setting. So we look into incentive mechanisms between multiple competing users, very, very different from data science. As a matter of fact, most of what we did was writing proof of theorems. And if you've done that, you know there the important thing is to make up right assumptions, good assumptions, so you can go through with the proof. And most of the work didn't actually need data to back it up. We have to justify proof, or the assumptions, of course. And so what's implied in this background is not only that I wasn't trained in data science, but I was not an expert in cybersecurity either. So how did I get into this? This is something that I ventured into about 4 years ago. And as you will see, up to this point, we've been using a fairly basic, I would say, first-year graduate student level machine learning tools. But I hope to show you what are the innovative aspects to this exercise. And this exercise has actually also opened up other research avenues for me, and that is in the space of policy design, which I actually have always been very, very interested in. So how did I get into data? Well, through collaborators. I was working with computer scientists who specialize in internet measurements. And this is a very vibrant research community in computer science. But what they tend to do is, internet is huge, but so is oftentimes is how to get the data. And so the drive for getting the data often outpaces the thinking behind what do we do with the data once we get it. And the analysis tends to be very elementary. And because I was doing a lot of modeling work, and by the way, I should have said at the outset, the reason I wanted to talk about this is, I think as a researcher, every time we get into a new area, what we have to go through is very, very similar to what a first-year graduate student is experiencing. You will see there are a lot of setbacks and frustrations, desperation, and so hopefully the experience is helpful to at least some of you. Right? So here are two examples of data sets they came to me with, and because of my background in modeling, they were hoping maybe we can do something slightly more sophisticated with the data. The first set of data is what's called reputation blacklists, RDLs. You may not have heard of it, but you are all personally affected by it. Two ways. One is, occasionally you may have had experience, so when you try to send an email, you get an automatic bounce back message saying your message cannot be delivered because your IP address has been blacklisted. If you haven't had the experience, good for you, I have. So what these lists are, so they're these organizations and research groups who deploy monitors and sensors throughout the internet trying to filter traffic. And by examining the traffic, they try to detect whether the traffic is malicious. For instance, whether the packet is part of a spam email, whether somebody is scanning illegally other IP addresses, whether an IP address is running a phishing site. And once you make these detections, they compose a list of IP addresses from which this traffic is coming from. These are source IP addresses. So these are basically blacklisted IP addresses. They compose these daily lists, and these lists you can subscribe to, some of them are open, and almost all your inboxes are filtered based on some type of access to these blacklists. Okay? This is in addition to the local version of spam detection and so on. Okay? So this is one type of data. What it has is just millions and millions of IP addresses that have seemed to stand engaged in some type of malicious activity. The second type of example that they came to me with is service or network configuration issues. I'll give you a very good example. Your department, doesn't matter which department you're from, very likely, somewhere in the department, there sits a printer that is visible halfway across the world by an attacker who can see it, meaning that he can pin it. The IP address is openly accessible. It's also quite likely that that printer has never been configured to have a new password, meaning the password is the default manufacturing password. So people with knowledge can log into that and do things with it. Now, as a printer, maybe the most you could do is just print out junk you may not like. This is very common. There are more serious configuration issues that advanced measurement techniques can try to detect. What you've seen from this type of data is deviation from known best practices. We know the best way to configure to lock down this service is such and such, but they're not being followed. Okay? So the question is, what do you do with it? What we wanted to do was something that is quite different from what others have done. So typically what people do in these is they basically they look at first order, second order statistics, they look at the trend, the global trend over the past few years, and make some observations about it. We asked the question, can we take this type of data and maybe many others of similar types and try to quantify the overall security posture of a block of hosts, IP addresses, a network, or an organization? And the reason we're interested in this is we want to be able to see whether there are high-level policy issues that this can enable us to design. And I'll come back to this. So then essentially the question is, if this is what we want to do, then we need to ensure that the metrics we come up with to quantify the security posture can be justified. And if this is possible, then what we can build is a global security rating system, or reputation system. Okay? That very much parallels consumer individual level credit rating system. Why do we think this is a good idea? There are myriad threats to internet security and availability. I need not go into this. The cyber threats are now such a daily occurrence, we're all quite familiar with them. If you look at the landscape of defensive strategies, there are plenty, but most of them are focused on hosts, individual hosts. Blacklisting IP addresses, one thing I just mentioned, and there are a lot of solutions that engineers have come up with that are installed on individual hosts. For instance, intrusion detection systems, software patching, and so on. All these are very useful. But we were thinking something that's orthogonal to this, or complementary to this. The other thing that comes with host-based solutions is they're heavily detection-based. Okay? Essentially, you have to wait for the problem to occur, and that's the case with intrusion detection. It's also the case with filtering blocking systems. Okay? And a lot of times, by the time a problem has occurred, then you're in the damage control mode. The damage is already being done. Our mission is, again, it's a lot of orthogonal to this and complementary to this. We want to assess the network as a whole, not as individual hosts. And underlying this is our belief that a network is typically governed by consistent policies. And what's behind policies are people. Now, systems change, operating systems change, patches change. The human resource behind this running the system actually changes at a much slower time scale compared to this. And the resource and the expertise, similarly, they change on a larger time scale. The consistency leads to predictability. And consistent doesn't mean it's static, it can be dynamic. And predictability is what gives us the ability to adopt more proactive policies. So from a policy perspective, this opens up, if we could do this, then it opens up new avenues. The other thing is that a lot of mechanisms, incentive mechanisms in particular, can only be applied at a higher level and not at the host level. Okay? So for instance, a very common semi-incentive mechanism is cyber insurance. Okay? As though a risk mitigation and risk reduction mechanism, you cannot write policies for individuals. That has to be written for an entire organization. So you want to incentivize the right policy making, the right resource allocation decisions at a high level. Okay? Because a lot of, as we pointed to, a lot of cybersecurity problems are ultimately people problems. People who don't have the right expertise, who don't have the right mentality, who do not follow their due diligence, a lot of these attacks, the major breaches, they all really originate from very, very elementary issues. Right? We had the right vision, but we had many, many failed attempts. One of the root causes of this is, well, we want to define metrics to summarize, to quantify security posture of an organization. In defining these metrics, and because we're looking at very different data types, they're capturing different aspects of an organization, defining these metrics can appear arbitrary. There are so many different ways to do this. You can core analysis, unsupervised learning, I can try to build synthetic models, and that often runs into the problem of how to convince people, say reviewers, whatever you present this for, pointing agency to peer reviewers, is why is one way better than the other? And ultimately, what can we do with it? Okay? The typical response, I would say, is to shrug up the shoulder and, so what? Yeah, sure, interesting. We tried many, many things. We tried correlating different posture measurements with the geographical locations, with different types of organizations. They're interesting observations. But yet, at the end of the day, oftentimes what we got was, so what? try to submit this type of work, my students were getting very, very desperate. So we did this, and every time I think we were making a little bit more progress. But we were stuck on this probably for a good 2 years. And the issue is, how do we convince people that this is useful? Eventually we had an idea. And the idea came from another source, which is by then, I think this was 2014, 2015, we started hearing more and more about high-profile data breaches. Okay? I'm sure each of you can name a few. This is 2014, Target, JP Morgan Chase, Home Depot, Anthem, and I'm sure many of you here probably have received letters to the effect that your data may have been exposed. As a compensation, we offer you 1 year free access to your credit reports. I got this from my alma mater, University of Maryland. And the increasing social and economic impact of these cyber breaches is very obvious. Okay? The data suggests that between 2010 to 2014, 95% increase in the average cost of these. As these were being reported more widely and consistently, the idea came to our mind, which is, can we use these breach reports as labels to enable supervised learning? We're talking about standard supervised learning. When we had the data we have, anything we did was essentially extracting features. And unsupervised learning that we were doing over these features were considered unconvincing, okay? Even though we had interesting observations. So the next idea was, let's use these breach reports as labels, okay? So we can build classifiers that can actually then predict data breaches, okay? And in the process, we can use many of the methods we developed earlier that we consider useful as features in the training of the classifier. So that was the idea we had. Now, in hindsight, I think a lot of your researchers that talk to would say, yeah, that's such a natural thing to do. But when we were going through the process, it was not at all a natural thought. And that's because the breach report is a very different beast. It is primarily collected by law enforcement agencies and reported by news media. It's a very different source, and it requires very different collection methodologies compared to internet measurement data. And it's also a very, very nascent field in the sense that different breach disclosure laws are being enacted at the state level. California, for instance, has perhaps one of the strongest consumer data protection laws. So you see very uneven disclosure rates from place to place. There lacks and still lacks a consistent standard for reporting. So if you look at some of these reports, people use very, very different languages, perhaps to mean exactly the same thing, or the same language perhaps to mean very different things. There's no uniformity in that. And so the noise level and the incompleteness of the set of data was basically a major hindrance, so you don't often consider this as a data source. Verizon was indeed starting to collect such data and analyze the year-on-year trend. And turns out, in order to collect this data, they go to local law enforcement agencies, Attorney General's website, and it was just a large amount of FOIA requests that they filed with the courts to get it. But once we decided this is what we could do, we're going to try this, then it actually significantly augments the application we originally had in mind. If we can do breach prediction, then it is extremely useful in enterprise risk management, because if I know my risk lies, it can help me make decisions in prioritizing resources and take proactive actions. It is also very helpful in third-party and vendor validation. Large companies typically have lists of thousands and thousands of potential vendors. The typical decision regarding which vendor you choose, University of Michigan, for instance, our mail service, our file storage, have all been outsourced. These are all U of M vendors. When you decide which vendor to use, Google versus somebody else, what factors do you consider in making that decision? What we're arguing here is cybersecurity costs should also be one of the factors when you make that decision. If you look at breaches like Home Depot and JP Morgan Chase, the breach was all brought on by a third party, a vendor. And last but not least, if you can do this type of risk assessment, you can design better incentive mechanisms. Going back to the example of cyber insurance policies, that will be the first time that you can actually write a cyber insurance policy with something close to actuarial information, which they have in other mature products that they don't have in cyber security, and yet they write large quantities of insurance policies to the tune of billions of dollars in premium. I've actually seen U of M's own insurance policy, and it's very interesting. Something, if you're interested, I'll be happy to talk more offline. So, the next few slides, I'll present to you the breach prediction framework we eventually built. What we wanted to do was we want this framework to be scalable, meaning that we don't want to have to knock on everybody's door and get their internal data in order to do this, so we rely completely on externally observed data. And that fits well with the example data sets that I presented earlier. We also wanted the framework to be robust, because we know very, very well each data source we have can be very noisy, and we don't always have control over, or even the knowledge of what that error is and the origin. And last but not least, a lot of these data that we have to work with, they're grossly incomplete. So what we relied on was to use as much different types of data as possible. And the hope is that the error sources are different from different sources so that they have a compensating effect. When you put them all together, this is one thought. The other thought is in order to do this type of risk prediction, we wanted the data to capture very different aspects of an organization. It's not just the explicit signs of infection, okay, of that infection, your machine is sending out spam. We also wanted to capture latent signals. And one example is the misconfiguration and mismanagement that I was referring to earlier, because that gives you a very, very good sign of how competent the people are who are running the network. It can be very hard to convince IT people that those data types are useful because they'll argue, so what if my printer is left open? Or my valuable data is locked in a lockbox? I've heard this many times. But what is that telling you? What that tells you is if you don't have the paranoia or the sense that if the printer doesn't need to be open, you have to lock it down. It's the other way around. It's not that I don't see harm and therefore I'll leave it open. No. If it doesn't need to be open, you lock it down. If you don't have the training and mentality to do that, then that casts doubt on how well you're doing the lockup job. And you see from our exercise that oftentimes it's very true. Is that you tend to think, I've locked my valuable things in safe. We don't know how well you're doing that. And there's a great correlation between these other things you're doing that seem denied to the more crucial things that you're doing, and maybe we don't have direct observation of. Here's in this prototype study that I'm going to show you, I used exactly the same two types of data that I presented a few slides ago. Malicious activity data, we sourced this from 11 different blacklists. They capture generally 3 different types of malicious activity: spamming, phishing malware, and scanning. And we also use a large quantity of mismanagement systems. One good example here is HTTPS certificates. This you probably all have had experience. You're trying to visit some sites and your browser pops up a message saying, do you really want to go there? The site doesn't have a signed and valid certificate. Okay? That's usually a sign that, either it's an illegitimate site, okay? Maybe it's a phishing site, it's a proper warning, but oftentimes it is a legitimate site. Safe to go, but they have a certificate that's either not signed by a certified authority, certificate authority, or it has expired. This happens all the time. They let them expire, they don't renew it. Again, a lot of people argue, so what? What's harm? I let it lapse for 2 months. Well, it's a sign that perhaps the organization doesn't have enough human resources to stay on top of these things. And what does that tell you about other things they're doing? Okay. And then we source from different places the incident data sets that we use as labels. Again, this is a quick illustration of how non-uniform incident reporting is. If you look at these data sources, they use very different categorization of the incident types. In this particular exercise, we basically lump them all into a label of one, whether there is an incident or there isn't an incident. But this gives us a lot of headache when we try to do type predictions. Alright, so basically we then use the first 2 data sets to extract features and the last one to use as labels. 90% of our time, my students and my time, ends up being cleaning the data. The biggest problem we had here was our mismanagement data and our malicious activity data, they come at very different resolutions. Okay? One is associated with they both are associated with IT addresses, but our label data, breach reporting is associated with an organization, not a single IT address. So you have to do a lot of work to map them. And the mapping process is manual labor intensive because it's not readily available. You have to go into these routing information registry databases and try to do a lot of the matches. Essentially, query and verification, re-verification by hand. So it ends up being a very labor-intensive process. Does it work? So here I'm showing you an example. So you train your classifiers. Here I'm showing 2 distribution curves, one of non-victim set, the blue curve, the other is the victim set, the red curve. The large difference, and the distribution is over the classifier output, so numbers between 0 and 1. The large difference immediately shows you that it contains information. And here I'm putting on the map major breaches, publicly disclosed breaches in 2015. And this was run using free breach data. So what you see is all these hypothetically could have been predicted as being high risk. The one at the top is Penn State. I didn't put you of them here, it's not good. Universities tend to be bad because we run our networks from an open principle, so a lot of things can happen. Overall, just to summarize, we can very comfortably achieve, just across different label data sets, roughly speaking, 90% true positives and 10% false positives. Okay? So it's pretty good performance. Which is one more thing, which is fine-grained prediction. This is now, I ask the question, not only what my overall risk is, but can you predict what type of incident I'm going to have? See, it's a similar principle, but much harder to do because the breach reports are so incomplete, as I showed you earlier. The categorization is vary, and one report will say a physical event, but it doesn't say whether it's a physical theft or physical other events. Okay. So we have to use additional data inputs. One of them is web traffic statistics from AWIS. essentially we have to do the risk estimate piece by piece using the maximum number of labels we can use, not counting on complete labels. So here's a quick illustration of what you can do with this type of risk estimate. Here, information and public administration are two industry categories. You can do essentially the estimate for two broad industries, and I list two examples within each industry. What you see here is when you do this type of exercise, then they're catered to the specific organization examining. Their profile can look very, very different from their relative industry. Verizon here, for instance, compared to its industry information, is much more across the board risky. Now, that could be a sign that Verizon as a large company is prone to report everything that's ever happened to it. Whereas here, public administration as a sector is across the board risky, but Internal Revenue Service is really just risky to two things, error and misuse. And the process here are what actually happened to that organization. So this is an illustration of how you can do very, very targeted risk estimate. So with these things we have done, we finally had enough to convince people that this is useful. We were able to publish a few papers. My students were very, very relieved when we had the use the security paper accepted. Sometimes it comes as a surprise to a writer because my word doesn't actually count as much as the reviewer's words. When you receive rejection again and again, there's a lot of doubt. I'm not sure what you say is correct. This is what other people are saying. And it was also well received by trade researchers and funding agencies. And surprisingly, we had commercial success, as I just mentioned. Because I was trained mostly as a pen and paper researcher, including errors and all. I never actually imagined I would have a company. But when we did this, the commercial application behind it became so compelling, we did it. And it happened really fast. We did it in May 2014. We were featured in the Wall Street Journal article in January 2015. And we also named Gartner Who Vendor that year. And we were acquired in May 2016 by FICO. Who's FICO? FICO is the one giving you the score on your credit card statements. Consumer ratings agency. And so what we're building here is being recognized by them as a parallel to their consumer, basically enterprise security ratings system, paralleling their FICO score. So, a few thoughts. I'm almost done. Again, as essentially somewhat of an outsider to data science, what I see is this is an uneven landscape in how data is used in different fields. I can tell you the truly big data that require very advanced tools to be scalable, performance, efficiency, and so on. But there are also other fields where people spend years and years to get data, which have now outpaced the thinking behind to drive its use. So there basically are areas that just become data rich that need creative ideas on what to do with the data. I think cybersecurity is becoming that fast. Not everybody will agree with my assessment, but I think it's a good time to apply data analytics to make new contributions. There's abundance of data, you will need some domain expertise, but there's a lot of opportunity there. And I also firmly believe good analysis can inform policy design and opening up new areas. If you're interested in data analytics and machine learning tools, this is probably mostly, I like to say this to our own ECE students, because I see this among my own students. They don't always embrace data. They realize, man, most of my time is scrubbing the floor. When do I get to dunk on it? You don't. Almost once you're done cleaning, it becomes obvious. Some students learn to embrace it. Some don't. Some will stay on the sideline and try to do as little as possible, or just enough so they can run their algorithms on it. I think this is a good case study to highlight some real challenges and different aspects of it. But if you do come out the other end, I think the results can be very rewarding. And embrace will come your way. Thank you. Emotional information, which makes sense. We know that people need context to be able to interpret behavior. But what we also find is that we can pretty accurately characterize emotion using three different things. One, short time pieces of information. So just and I really appreciate the two previous speakers mentioned a lot of issues.
so important to all of us, and also personally, I really echo those. I'm from University of Michigan, Dearborn. When I joined the department there in 1992, believe it or not, I was the only woman faculty member there in the entire engineering college there. Things have changed, and a lot of progress has been made in the last 15 years, and now we have about 10% of faculty at work, so that's good improvement. We still have a lot of work to do to get a gender equality there. Today, I'm here is really talking about my research work involving data-driven research for establishing the intelligent vehicle systems and transportation systems. And my research area is really artificial intelligence and machine learning. So we'll take a look at what we can contribute to the data science. In the vehicle system and transportation system, yes, we do have abundance of data emerged in the last few years due to the fast development of computer technology, network, and data acquisition system and sensor system. So in my research, we have collected a vast amount of data, just as example to show you. All those data hitting my home has really the characteristic of big data: volume, velocity, variety, veracity, and value. As you see, the data we are working on certainly will have those properties. And a modern vehicle currently easily, you can get about hundreds of sensor data because of even electrification in vehicle systems. And those data can be used actually for many applications to improve the vehicle system for us as to establish intelligent systems. However, those signals will come in many different ways, and some are continuous signals, some are discrete signals, and also some, as you all know, and in reality, sensor data can be noisy, and sometimes even can be sensor failure, so data cannot be trusted. So it's complex. But also more recently, in last decade or so, past development is rodent geometry data database. They sometimes call it geometric information systems or map data. So in United States, North America, and a lot of European countries, all the roads are placed with sensor, and in particular in highways, a lot of those sensors are placed on freeway are actually hardware sensors, and some areas could be aggregate data. It depends on the local data. Mostly are together, speed, and from the aggregate data. But road geometry data also being established. Let me see if we go. And those data actually will be represented typically at a sensor level, we call GNC level, and the next high graphical level will be the link, and the smallest part will be the shape point. So all those data will give us the GPS locations of the road, as well as speed limit, and number of lanes on the road, and curvature, altitude, and the length of that particular section. So obviously this will be very useful for our research. And also, those map companies will provide the real-time traffic data, as I said. Some of those traffic data are gathered from sensor systems, so we call the CNC part. And in my lab, we have been downloading all the traffic data. We have downloaded all the road geometric database in Michigan and Ohio. We are also downloading the real-time traffic data every 5 minutes, and since 2011, so you can see the vast database we are containing. And also, we collected weather data as well. And so the data volume is very large. Every day such data will be about 462 megabytes. Also during our research collaboration with the automotive companies, and automotive companies have provided us with a lot of data they collected, individual driver data. So we have about 368 channel signals for every recording. And those signals will be vehicle data and environmental data, as well as physiological data and video. All those you can see the different mode of data we need to process. For a trip of less than 1 hour, the signal size about 400 megabytes. Just think about the large volume we need to process. And more recently, we also use D2D communication data to build a vehicle safety system. So I'll just give you an example of all the data we need to deal with. Definitely it has all the complexity, but we have a lot of opportunities. We can build intelligent systems to optimize vehicle energy. We can provide build a vehicle safety system to help to save lives. So this is a big picture. I just want to show you overall what we do in my research lab. So, so if you look at this is our data system, we will take the individual recorded data and the vehicle-to-vehicle communication data, road geometric information, as I said before, and also the data, real-time data provided by a company called HERE, that's a traffic information providing company. And all those through machine learning will build up a database and a knowledge base that will facilitate a number of application problems. So all those knowledge we build from the data can be used to predict the driving speed, which is one of the topics I'm going to talk about that. And also we can predict the traffic congestion along any given traveling route. And also we can predict the personal route from a location A. A driver enters the location destination, what is the likely route the driver will take. Safety system built based on the V2V, and V2V is vehicle-to-vehicle communication. A lot of safety system collision avoidance in the past is built on computer vision. They still do. Computer vision, if there's an incoming vehicle, then of course you will advise the driver not to make a turn. And if there's a vehicle coming behind you, you try to make a lane change, then a warning system will come to you. So most are built on computer vision system or radar system or combination of that. However, all those sensor systems require a line of sight, which means objects in order to be detected, they should see each other in the vicinity. So V2V data is a radio transmission signal. So it will allow vehicles to see in terms of signals that there are vehicles actually approaching, and you shouldn't be making a left turn. So even though they don't see each other in the field of view of a camera system. So this is obviously is a good type of information for building the vehicle safety system. So in this one, this seminar, I'm going to introduce only one project, and I select this one because the application problem I'm pretty familiar with for most of people.